Looking for la dolce vita? Well, you might not find it in Italy. Watch this video before you decide to make the big move because I've got some pretty solid reasons why you should never move to Italy. I know you've spent years thinking about the Roman Empire, but trust me, influencers might have just oversold the entire country. There's a massive difference between visiting as a tourist and relocating as a digital nomad, so you're gonna want to hear me out. Italy, especially northern Italy, has a large expat community that is rather cosmopolitan, but don't let that fool you. English is not widely spoken in Italy, and while many tourists and expats speak other languages, if you want to move there, you'll need to know how to speak Italian. Although many Italians do speak a little English, it's not enough to have a meaningful conversation with them. To communicate with them, you will need to master the language because knowing a little won't cut it. Also, speaking in English might get you in trouble. The fact that you live in their nation while not making an active effort to learn their language will offend Italians greatly. If you don't speak Italian well, you might notice that people are more blunt and dismissive with you in social situations. So even if you live in Italy, your limited command of the language classifies you as a tourist, and those people are frequently regarded as being a bother by the locals. Many people end up leaving because of this. Fluency in Italian is necessary for daily life, business transactions, accessing services, and integrating into the community, or else you'll end up being alienated. Plus, you'll find that even fewer people speak your language in rural areas of Italy. This nation has remarkably few English speakers, so you might have to go several miles before finding someone who can understand you. Pictures of Italy that you come across online, on television, or in promotional advertisements will show you lovely sunsets, rolling Tuscan hills, adorable little cafes serving delectable food, or gondoliers steering gondolas through the canals of Venice. But this is hardly a true representation of the majority of the country. Look, Italy is a very old country, and you can tell. Some of the larger cities have a reputation for being very dirty. This is particularly true for tourist-heavy towns like Rome, Florence, and Milan, which are notorious for having trash lying around on the streets, especially close to popular tourist attractions. In fact, Rome's severe rubbish problem has actually earned it the unwelcome distinction of being the dirtiest city in the whole of Europe. Okay, now this aspect of Italy will offend women in particular. To put it mildly, the public restrooms are something out of a nightmare. Often, there will only be a hole in the ground, or if there is a toilet, the seat will probably be missing. Yeah, there's no way you're gonna wanna go. All the culture and history can't hide some of the biggest drawbacks of the country. The more developed north and the impoverished south of Italy are sharply divided because of the country's regional diversity. When it comes to economic opportunities and quality of life, this disparity is even more clear. Plus, you'll notice it in the locals too. Northerners often hate Sicilians and vice versa. Oh, and you might have heard of rural areas that provide families with affordable housing if they are willing to remodel the home. Schemes promoting how you could relocate to Italy, purchase real estate, and bring a centuries-old house back to its former splendor just for €1. Upon arrival, you'll discover that the majority of these reasonably priced properties are extremely poor quality, run down, and located far from the tourist trail, which is great if you prefer seclusion. But trust me, none of you are gonna wanna live there. It's a little too sketchy. Small apartments with minimal modern furnishings will cost New York City prices if you prefer the social aspect of the Italian way of life. Also, many Italians are leaving their country because there aren't enough job opportunities for young people. The economy of the country has grown slowly, but there are huge unemployment rates and not many work prospects, especially for young people. Finding a stable job or advancing in your career will be super challenging for you. Also, major cities like Rome and Milan have a high cost of living, with pricey housing and regular bills that will put a strain on your finances. Italy's extremely high unemployment is a major red flag. Because of this, it's difficult to get stable work in the country, even for those who live there. You would have the best odds of finding a well-paying job as an expat in places like Bologna, Milan, Florence, and Rome, but even there, your prospects would be reduced if you didn't know much about Italian. Short-term contracts are not renewed, wages are never received, and overall, the working environment is just awful. To the dismay of local trade unions, the government was even attempting to change the labor market with a Jobs Act, making it easier for businesses to hire and fire. The best jobs are reserved for Italians, and you might find yourself struggling to make even $1,000. Plus, when you move to Italy, you'll discover that the food is more reasonably priced, but practically everything else costs way more. Gas, other fuels, and even power imports raise the cost of living necessities. And if you wish to live somewhere popular, that means you'll be spending extra in addition to higher rent. So be sure to have some money set aside so that your savings won't suffer. Many people who are relocating to the country have no idea how much it'll cost them, and certain unforeseen expenses may come as a surprise to you. If you are aware of what your monthly spending should be, it's possible to live on a budget, but not for long. Now, in Italy's public services, bureaucracy is a huge issue. The infamous Ius Sibillum, or Sibylline Law of Italy, a body of legislation made up primarily of exceedingly cryptic regulations, serves as the best example of this. According to the legend, without the help of Apollo's oracle, only heavenly guidance can be used to understand the code. Similar to this, bureaucracy is still facing a problem in Italy today and can lead to a variety of challenges while conducting business or following through with specific legal procedures. The official specifications are quite unclear and regularly change, so before moving further with any legal situation, you'd have to double-check and triple-check all the prerequisites. Since it isn't always clear what is needed or where to get the information, this is easier said than done. Also, government agencies respond to requests at the pace of a sloth and still won't be much help. It's difficult and time-consuming to do simple things like create a bank account, register your car, or get a residency permit. Italians cope with a lot of bureaucracy, but as an expat, you'll undoubtedly experience its worst effects. What's more, Italy's crazy traffic and aggressive driving style will make you question everything you know about risky driving conditions. Don't believe me? Driving too fast, jumping red lights and other traffic signals, driving while intoxicated, driving without a license, and driving too fast are the top 5 causes of accidents in Italy. Also, it's unusual for Italian drivers to share the road with pedestrians and cyclists. This frequently results in risky circumstances. So if you're a pedestrian, you need to exercise extreme caution when crossing streets. On the other hand, as a cyclist, you should also take essential safety measures to prevent being in an accident, such as wearing the appropriate protection gear. One thing about these people, Italians will say whatever is on their minds, and they are absolutely not politically correct. Depending on how you look at it, this may be a good thing or a bad thing. Even though it's great that people will be extremely honest if you ask if you have food on your face or not, it's not great for a racial standpoint. They'll make note of any differences you may have and will point it out. Italy is a country where women are powerful, but misogyny still exists. Foreigners often get catcalled and followed, so the country is not the safest choice to live alone as a woman. Now, if I talk about the healthcare system, it's in shambles too. The lengthy wait times are a huge drawback. You could have to wait months to see a specialist. There aren't many specialists accessible, and since many can afford long vacations, they often spend a lot of time away from their offices. By the way, getting a visa to live in Italy can be very tough if you're self-employed. You must provide evidence that you have health insurance and enough money to support yourself. They don't want people to register as independent workers only to find themselves unable to pay their bills, as that would be a waste of resources for the nation. Plus, high tax rates make it difficult to avoid paying them, and expats are automatically subject to greater taxes than citizens of the area. Even if your money comes from sources outside of Italy, you must declare all of your income. This is a hassle, especially if you freelance or have other sources of income. Add to that the fact that it's not always easy to get things done because the administration is also notorious for being highly corrupt. When it comes to your living situation, not too great, you guessed it. You are bound by a long-term lease if you rent an apartment in Italy. You can't move around because most leases are for 18 months to 3 years. How can I forget that this is the land of attenzione pickpocket? Yep, some of the worst pickpockets in Europe are found in Italy. You always need to be on high alert because pickpocketing is not just done by men, it's also done by women and children. 1 in 4 Italians smokes, so if you don't, get ready to be shocked, and good luck if you have asthma. The percentage of smokers in Italy increased to over 24%, while the smoking rate in the United States reached an all-time low of 12.5% in 2022. In other words, Italy has almost twice as many smokers as the average country, which can be startling for non-smokers. Oh, and if you have any dietary restrictions like lactose intolerance or gluten allergies, this country could be the worst choice you could ever make. And that's a wrap. Let us know in the comments below what your views are on moving to Italy, and make sure to subscribe to our channel for more. See you next time.